Brain box.
I warned you I was sick. So from a previous post you all know that my mom's ex was an abusive bastard. And one day I was in the corner because I zoned out during a math lesson he was giving. Homeschooling with an abusive asshole really sucks. Standing in the corner, for those of you who don't know, basically means staring at a wall with hands at your sides and no noise for 10 minutes or whatever arbitrary time. For a high energy child like I was, it royally sucked. I hated it. But today was a special day. I also sometimes feel ill if I don't sleep. It is rare, but it was late at night this night and 10-year-old me starts to feel ill. It might not have been far past my bedtime, but it certainly was too late for my stomach. Me, I'm gonna be sick. Him, not believing me, stay in the corner. Malicious compliance kicked in. So I stayed there. The next noise he hears from me is a garbled splashes of what contents of my stomach have just made a grand exit. I cover the wall and the carpet and he promptly shouts at me to go to the bathroom. I had to clean it up after I was done puking, but I find it very amusing years later. He took it more seriously after that when I tell him I have to go. Dumb cost savings policy creates 830% cost increase. I used to work in a job that had me traveling by air across the country for about half the year each year. Corporate rule was that you had to book the lowest price flight. Now, that's not an unreasonable rule on its own, unless you say there are no exceptions. Lowest price flight. Period. It's especially silly when the worker's employment agreement mandates they are paid for every hour they're in transit, at the airport, or on the plane. Every hour. Period. You see where this is going. Here were my flight options. One $600 cheap non-direct flight. 3-hour connecting flight to hub airport plus 1 hour layover in that airport plus 5-hour flight back to correct city. 2 $620 direct flight. 2-hour direct flight. I asked our finance department if there were any exceptions. No exceptions. So, to save $20, I was required to book the non-direct flight at 9 hours including layover, rather than the 2-hour direct flight, while getting paid $25/HR. One $600 cheap flight, plus 9 hours x $25 equals $237.50. Oops, and overtime pay after 8 hours. Plus 1 hours x $12.50 op premium equals $18.75 equals $600.00 plus $237.50 plus $18.75 equals $856.25. 2 $620 direct flight, plus 2 hours x $25 equals $50 equals $620.00 plus $50 equals $670. So, congratulations corporate penny pinchers who saved a whopping negative $186 of company money to save $20. Malicious compliance was delicious compliance. Stop it to calls. You got it, big shot. This is from the time I was maliciously complied upon. I was in my early 20s and pretty cocky because I had figured out the whole world and was feeling pretty smart about it. I got a job with a delivery company my parents owned so I could strut around like king shit, and I did. I was that guy. I don't like to answer my phone when I'm not working. My personal or my work phone. That's just the way it is. I have some social anxiety and my phone is my trigger, so I typically put it away when I get home. It's part of setting up my zen space. My dispatcher however would call my phone repeatedly if he can't get a hold of me, and every now and then I'd hear my phone buzzing off and get pissed off. Finally I blew up on him one day. You can call me twice. That's it. 1, 2. If you don't get an answer, fuck off. It means I'm not coming to the phone. I remember him nodding his head as one would do when they really wanna tell their boss's kid off but have to bite their tongue. Skip to a week later when I'm lying in bed on my Saturday morning. I can hear my phone in my desk drawer buzz buzz, buzz buzz. All I can think is it's Saturday. Why the fuck is he calling me on Saturday? Since when do I work on Saturday? A few minutes go by and sure enough buzz buzz, buzz buzz. I'm adamant that I'm gonna lie in bed and I'm not gonna feel bad about not answering the phone. But he did exactly what I said. He called twice and fucked off. I was actually pretty happy about that. I felt like a big man. I had told him. So I get to the office on Monday and ask what's up with the calls on Saturday. He gets his smirk and said we got a last minute job for Collective Soul. $250 to deliver their equipment. Came with a meet and greet and good tickets to the show. I tried to call you first, but yeah no. Can't control your jealousy? Let me help. So, this happened to me during the last year of high school. I was 17 at the time. I was in a relationship for nearly 2 years now with ex. I was so happy with her and everything went great. We were even looking for some flat to rent during our college years, because we were about to be in the same town. But with the end of the high school approaching, she became more and jealous about my best friend, BF. So much that one morning, when I wasn't even to school yet, she had a fight with BF about how close we were and that we were spending too much time together. There's only one problem with her theory: BF is lesbian. I ended up spending the day alone to avoid her jealousy. A week later it was BF's birthday. I was invited, X wasn't. X said to me, "If you go there, I'll break up with you," or something like this. I don't remember. I recomforted her by saying that she was jealous over nothing and that BF was already in a relationship with one of my best friends and that she was lesbian. So, I went to this party. The next day, I was still hangover and she hit me with the "don't speak to any girl besides me." Time for malicious compliance. The same day we had planned a dinner at her house, like every Friday night. There were her mom and her sisters. Needless to say, that I've exactly followed what she said to me earlier. I didn't say a word to her mom nor her family. Then after cleaning the dishes, I left without saying a word. It was so awkward and weird. X's mom would ask me a question, and X would say that I couldn't talk because I was sick. But when X's asked me the same question, I would answer normally. And it was like this every Friday until she finally said sorry. Indubitably, we didn't last long after that. Looking back at it, I'm so happy that her jealousy kicked in while in high school and not in university with a rent to pay, because that would have been a pain in the ass with the papers. I need to use more adjectives? Okay. No TLDR, if you find mistakes you can keep them. This happened nearly 20 years ago, but for some reason it's locked in my brain for eternity. So I thought I post this story here, maybe someone will get a smile out of it. Since it is so long ago, maybe the story got a bit altered in my mind, but who cares. I was in grade 3 or 4, 9, or 10 years old at that time, and we had to write short essays in school as tests. I got for my first 2 essays the grade 3 would be a C in UK and US, and I asked my teacher what was wrong, since I didn't make many mistakes and fulfilled the requirements. She said that I had a bad writing style because I never used adjectives and that would make my story very boring, and that I had to use more adjectives. This was so far solid advice, but then I asked how many adjectives should I use. The teacher said I should use as many as I can. She probably thought that I would have problems with this, since I barely used any until this point. I did not have problems using adjectives, though they weren't necessary. In the next test, I used as many adjectives as I possibly could, being completely aware that the result would not be a pleasant to read story. Many adjectives didn't really add anything to the story at all. I used at least 2 adjectives per noun, most times more. I ended up using over 60 adjectives for a essay with maybe 120 to 160 words total. I got a 1 in UK and US, but was told that using 3 adjectives per sentence is enough, and that I should use less than I did in this essay. Shoved aside because you're his mom? Okay. I do pro photos, and was hired for a sporting event. A field of 180 top amateur competitors in the sport was narrowed down to 2 finalists. The winner would go on to big things, as well as landing a nice payday. It could definitely be considered a life-changing event. I shot a lot of great photos of the event, and at the awards ceremony, all the attention was on the winner and none on the second place guy. So I offered to do pics of him with his second place trophy and family. As I was setting up the shot, his mom shoved me aside forcefully. I said, "I'm setting up here for some shots." She said I'm his mother. I stepped aside while she snapped some portrait mode pics on her phone. My intent wasn't truly malicious as I intended to continue after she was done, but before she finished I was called over by the organizers, aka my paycheck signers, to shoot more photos of the winner. So I guess one might say it was passive malicious. It's sad that the second placer didn't get pro photos of the ceremony, but I'm never going to argue with I'm his mother.